All right, well, happening today, the mother of all car shows is here for the next few days.
Of course, talking about SEMA, the convention center is tricked out with the newest and greatest aftermarket products for all your cars.
And we're here with DPN TV. We're here at SEMA 2019.
We're here to check out the awesome builds.
And we're going to see what's up and coming in the automotive industry. Let's go.
So this is a brand new 2020 GR Supra. Obviously at this year's SEMA show, it's not a stranger. There's plenty of Supras here. This one happens to be a Pandem wide body Supra. Consists of 17 pieces on the kit alone. This is a version 1.5 Pandem kit. So there's actually a version 1.0, I think, which a number of the Supras are running. This one just happens to be the 1.5, and the most distinguishable way to kind of tell that it's a 1.5 is the rear wing. So you're going to get the gooseneck, sort of the swan neck GT style wing. Rest of this, like I said, is just the standard kit. The flares, the skirt, the rear spats, and then the over flares, as well as the front lip. So this is the factory turbulence gray color. I like it just because it has this nice sort of sheen to it, but the color shifts. Like you can tell on some of the panels it looks a little cooler in color, like on the sides right here, but as you get to the top of the hood, the color will flop and it'll look like a warmer gray color. And I thought that was a really interesting, just even if it's a factory color, it's just a really unique color. So we went with that. The overall theme of the build, we went for more of a motorsports look over, let's say, a show car look. It's obviously an aesthetic choice. You'll see a lot of the Supras that are running really deep three-piece wheels, massive three-piece wheels that are on air ride, and I think that's a great look for the car. But again, for us, we chose to run, like, for example, the T37 wheels. These are one-piece wheels, obviously, and these are the 19-inch Ultra Track 2s. So we actually brought in a pair of the Recaro RMS Pro Racer seats. These were only actually made available in Japan. This was an exclusive by Recaro Japan. And so we have, of course, the 6-point harnesses from Takata. And then we have a roll cage from Studio RSR that kind of holds in the harnesses. So that kind of wraps out the interior of the car. So under the hood, the most noticeable stuff is that we have a full array of Cusco stuff, not only on the top side of the engine bay, but we have the sway bars underneath, we have the power brace underneath. So just, again, conservatively, this car is doing a little over 500 horsepower. On full E85, it's getting close to about 610 horsepower now. So a lot more significant power output than the factory setup right now. I happened to have a fairly early allocation of a Supra. There was a Supra that was coming in. I had put my name on a wait list for a few years, and I had been notified that my car would be coming in soon. So we made a few phone calls, and people said that they were interested in having a Supra here, especially here at the Toyo Tread Pass. So I had a great opportunity to build a car to debut here in the Tread Pass, which I think is probably one of the most popular spots right now in SEMA. I mean, you can see all the other cars that are surrounding it. These are like some of the best builders in the show. And so it was a huge honor to build it. And so I had a build partner. His name is Johnny Grunwald. He goes by Terminal 7. He has an amazing RX-7, an RX-8. He's a master SEMA builder. So he kind of worked with me in putting this whole master plan together. And then I had good buddies of mine, Vu and Tuan, that helped me with a lot of the paint and the body work to get it really, the fit and finish on this car, again, in my personal humble opinion, might be the cleanest. Again, I know that's subjective, but, again, there are a lot of Supras here at SEMA. There are a lot of wide body Supras here at SEMA, but I think the people that have actually visited and taken a look at a lot of the cars, they've come by and said, hey, look, the fit and finish on this car is probably the most immaculate. And, that's kind of what we were striving for. We knew we weren't going to necessarily have a one-off Supra, but what we were going to have visually, of course, is probably, hopefully, the cleanest executed Supra. And that's kind of what makes this build, I think, a little bit special.
guys, so we're here with Greg Salzillo, and we're here to talk about his custom car. Tell us about it.
So what we have is a 1957 Nash Metropolitan. We cleverly named it the Nashville. It started out as kind of an ugly duckling little clown car kind of looking thing, and we wanted to basically take something like that was maybe not very desirable and make something cool out of it. And I think we kind of knocked it out of the park with what you see behind us. We basically took the whole body off, built a custom complete chassis. It's got a small block Chevy 305 for the motor, a turbo 350 transmission, GM 12-bolt rear end out of a truck, and then the front end is like a 40s Ford tubular straight axle that we cut, widened about 8 inches so that we could get the wheels outside of the fender wells basically. It's got, just this cool aggressive stance, really, really cool, neat look basically. We built the car purposely for a show down here in Las Vegas. That's kind of the reasoning behind the dice on the engine too, as the air cleaner. We were kind of thinking last minute, what can we do for air cleaners? We figured we're going to Vegas and we just said, hey, let's roll the dice. So we made some dice, put those on air cleaners, and that's kind of what we came up with. A funny story kind of with that is we built it for this car show in Vegas. It was a huge hit, brought it back home, and shortly after we took it to a car show in our hometown, the Concours d'Elegance, and Richard Rawlings, of all people, came walking up, and he actually purchased the car from us. So that little for sale sign was kind of a cool thing because it brought him into, talk to us, kind of talk about the car. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. We were trying to get the car on production, and just schedules and stuff like that didn't really work out. So I ended up buying the car back from him. And good thing we did, because now it's on the Hot Wheels Legends Tour, and it's going to be, a actual Hot Wheel. So
That's crazy.
That little for sale sign has kind of been a cool little tool for us, I guess you could say.
What was your favorite part about building this vehicle?
Building it, that was a long process, a short but long process. We built it in a 4-month period of time, but it was a lot of late nights, long hours. A good friend of mine, Dave Ford, and myself built it. I would say the best part about it is being creative, being different, and being unique. And that's kind of what Hot Wheels was looking for, was those check marks as far as like garage spirit, creativeness, uniqueness. And that's kind of everything we put into it. So I would say that that's probably one of the better parts of this build, is just the uniqueness of what we created.
Well, great. Thanks for talking with us, Greg.
No problem. Thank you guys.
Can't wait to see the car in a little Hot Wheels.
Same here. Same here.
At the Hoonigan booth here at SEMA 2019. We're so excited to be here. What's going on?
Thank you for coming out. We're excited to have you guys. This is something that we've been doing. We started in what we call the Donut Garage in Long Beach, and we just started doing the equivalent of automotive unboxing videos. People would bring their cars. We'd do reviews on them. We got a little too loud for the city of Long Beach. We ended up having to move our set to the Irwindale Speedway. We brought these containers out to Irwindale Speedway. And then we started thinking, if we could bring them to Irwindale Speedway and make that a permanent set, why can't we do something as a traveling circus, so to speak, where we bring that having fun with cars element to the SEMA show and parts beyond. And that's essentially what launched us. We started here last year for our first thing. Obviously, you can see it's a great success. We love being here. We f*** around with cars, so it's just car essentially. Like literally, like people will do burnouts and figure eights and just insane maneuvers with the vehicles, and they'll park them up against the wall and just send the smoke over the monorail, block off Paradise Road. SEMA loves it because obviously we bring a young audience that I know nothing about because I'm way too old, but I do appreciate the fact that our YouTube channel has become so big and it's become an entire network. And I hate to say it, it's become essentially like a cult. So we started off just selling t-shirts with Ken Block, and then we ended up building this into what we have now.
What are some of your favorite cars that have came through the booth so far this year?
Oh, that's a good question, Justice. I really like Rob Parsons, the Chair Slayer. He's a disabled driver. He has a full hand-controlled drift car. That's always a favorite. Another hand-controlled driver is Corey from Lunch Money Garage. Hand-controlled driver. It's an old-school rat rod. We got the Drift Slayer, which is a Tacoma. Obviously, we have these cars here. The Wardhouse guys, we have the Formula Drift Champion here is driving in our... This is a Formula... I'm like, really? You want to bring your gorgeous drift car to our little yard, I'm like, that's awesome too. So it's really neat to see all the sorts of different vehicles. If you could see, there's a Blazer that came here yesterday and punched into the container, wrecked his car, but we love the fact that people come out and they put so much energy into it just to put on a show for our fans.
So we're here with Daniel Wu with his amazing build. Can you tell us what you did with your car?
Okay, so this is a 1968 Honda S800, which is the grandfather of the S2000. And I'm sure 90% of S2000 owners out there don't know that. And this car was never imported to the United States. So I brought it in through England via Hong Kong to the US. And so basically what we wanted to do with the car is that the car was very cute and classy in the design. And so the design brief was, it's actually called the Chimpira, which means low-level gangster in Japanese, right? And so the idea is that if you were a gangster in 1975, you're up and coming, your boss has a 2000 GT, a badass car. You have this car, but how do you make it more gangster, right? And so let's say it's 1975, so everything we did on it is kind of period to that. And so the body kit, which was done by Pandem Rocket Bunny, K Mura, that was a big helpful part of making it more gangster. And so I approached him. When I got the car, I approached him. He actually said he wanted to do a 510 build with me. And we already did one 2 years ago. And I was like, let's do something different. I have this S800. Would you want to do that? And he said, yeah, let's do it. So when the car arrived in the United States, came in through Long Beach, we brought it right to the SEMA garage, did a 3D scan of the whole car, sent him the data. 5 months later, the kit came. I'm sorry, I'm probably taking up the questions you wanted to ask about that. But, and so that was a major part of it. Then everything else was like, okay, how do we, all the design decisions were made from that perspective. Like, how do you make this thing more gangster, right?
Yeah.
So the black paint, it was originally silver, red interior. We widened the wheels. The wheels was a very difficult proposition because the 13-inch wheels with a 5x130 PCD. So it's a really big center, a really small wheel. Nobody makes aftermarket wheels like that. I wanted to do Watanabes. I'm a big Watanabe guy, but they wouldn't make them. So, or they couldn't do it in time. Everyone knows it takes forever to get Watanabe wheels. And doing a custom set would have taken probably a year. So we took the stock wheel, knocked out the centers, put new barrels on them. So there's 7-inch in the front, 8-inch in the rear. We have a Remark ready custom exhaust built for this car. So it's all goes from the headers all the way back. The original, can we go back here? Yeah, the original exhaust was split and came down the rear like that. And so this car has very European feel to it. So we decided to make it come out as center exit exhaust in the rear. So all that kind of builds up to the sort of Europeanness of the car. There's a lot of cues on it that are not JDM feeling. They feel more European. So we try to blow up or emphasize that. The rear taillights were not originally the shape. They were like a D shape, but they were broken and cracked, and I couldn't find replacements. So these are Ferrari taillights that we had to modify the back end here to make them fit in. But we feel like that it was like a perfect fit for this car. And then the interior is a custom interior done by DJ Designs in Hayward, California. And it was the same brief as I used to have a Jaguar E-Type that was red interior with these luggage rails in the back. And so I said, I wanted you to recreate that whole system. So he did all that. The seats are basically like they were stock, but just redone in leather. And he did an amazing job. So all that together kind of makes this the Gangster Chimpira S800 build.
So can you tell me a little bit about the body kit on this car?
Sure. The body kit was done by Pandem Rocket Bunny, and like he does really crazy kits. But what we want to do is something more period correct with him. And so it's a more subtle kit, but it does definitely drastically change the look of the car.
Well, thanks for talking with us.
Okay.
Your car's amazing. I love it.
Thanks for featuring it.
Of
We're
course.
really proud of it, so we're happy to have you guys do it. And you guys did my 510 a couple years ago, so happy to work with you guys every time.
had so much fun here at SEMA 2019. See you guys next time.